first question is, according to the description, you've both demonstrated excellent management skills. Please give us an overview of your management experience as it pertains to supervising over 300 employees working for 20 committees.
All right, if I may answer that real quickly. First, we only have 19 committees now with the new revision of the bylaws. And so as far as my experience goes, I've been a leader and an officer in Golden Key, Mortarboard, the National Society of Collegiate Scholars, and I'm also on the National Leadership Council for the National Society of Collegiate Scholars, and that is overseeing a program called March to College Day for 228 different chapters. So without that next year, I think that I could handle 19 committees very effectively. And I've also been the main coordinator for that March to College event here on campus, and we've been dealing with upwards of 400 8th grade students, 57 faculty presenters, 40 college volunteers, and a whole dozen other offices here on campus. So I am very well versed in event planning and managing numerous things here locally and at the national level through electronic versions of communication. So.
Would you like to a chance to respond to that?
Does it have to be me or
It can be either one of you.
I'd like to address that. I do not have experience managing 300 employees, but I do have experience managing 6 employees for ASMSU. Employees that I've hired through a hiring process that I schedule for on a monthly basis, that I handle scheduling crises and that sort of stuff. Also, with Procrastinator, we establish new relationships with vendors, we handle ordering, we handle inventory management, all that sort of stuff. So 300 employees, no, I have not done that, but I have done that, I would like to say, very well with 6 employees, and I would look forward to having the opportunity to extending those same gains in efficiency or providing more services for less cost with Procrastinator now. I look forward to having the opportunity to do that for each of ASMSU's now 19, committees.
Is there a request for a rebuttal?
Can I?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
That's okay. I would also say I don't have the vast experience managing, managing 300 people. I don't even necessarily have Shane's experience, but the best thing I can say is that, and again, I'll fall back on film. I mean, I have experience managing people who've been working for me on various films. I think Senate, I've displayed a certain degree of leadership experience, taking the initiative and getting involved in management of things like going to the state legislature and lobbying. I did take the initiative and try and make some major bylaw changes last year. Some of those went through, some didn't. But I think the basic thing to remember is that you're dealing with individuals, you're dealing with people, and you really have to start by treating people as individuals and also leading by example. I think you can sit back and you can manage and you say, you go do this, but the best way to do it is to lead by example. And I'm definitely willing to get in the trenches next year and tell people, here's what we're gonna do, here's how we're gonna do it, I'm gonna show you how to do it. So I think in that sense, I would want to be a very hands-on manager. And remember that people are individuals and you have to deal with everyone differently.
Okay, now a question for Mr. Ketto and Mr. Eggy. Discuss your interpersonal strengths and weaknesses working together as vice president and president.
Interpersonal between the two of us. Okay. Well, I think one of our strengths is that we've known each other a fairly long time. Mark and I actually went to high school together, so we've known each other for going on 5 years now. Going on 5 years now. So I think we have a pretty good awareness of the other person's personality and how we operate. Again, I think we have a nice balance of, especially given the positions that we're running for, I think I fit well in the presidential role, and I think Mark can strongly carry out the duties as vice president. So I think in that sense we're going to be a nice match. As far as weaknesses, I think communication is always something that we need to be working on. And I think this campaign has really given us a chance to kind of communicate with each other better and kind of learn how the other person functions best. But I do think that we are going to have to work on communicating with one another and really keep each other informed of what's going on, because I think we both have a strong desire to make changes in ASMSU and a really strong initiative. And I can see that in some regards, kind of each of us taking our own different path, going 2 different ways, and not working together as a cohesive administration. So I think that's a challenge that we'll have to address.
Dave and I have worked together in the past. The series of bylaw revisions that Dave mentioned previously, I had the privilege of working with him on that. and that was a great experience. And as Dave mentioned, we've been friends for quite some time. A weakness that I have is I don't always have the best emotional intelligence necessarily. I tend to be, I guess I would characterize myself as passionate, and sometimes that gets in the way of me communicating effectively. So if Dave can be forbearing and endure my poorly phrased statements from time to time, I think we can work together quite well.
Would you like a chance to respond to that?
Yeah, this was actually something that Mike and I talked about when we first decided to run together, and we drafted a list of our strengths and weaknesses, and I just wanted to list off a couple that we came up with. For me, consistency. I always maintain my composure no matter what the circumstances, so if anyone's seen me kind of get flustered, please let me know because I don't want to be incorrect. Versatility. I can work with a large group of different areas, and then I'm currently up to speed, with ASMSU and all its successes and its problems, and I'm a diehard Bobcat. That's one of my strengths. Weaknesses, I tend to take on a lot of things, and I think that I definitely have been working on delegation, probably more than anything else, but I have been improving that the last couple years, and especially with Mike's help, I will continue to improve that. And I will turn it over to Mike to talk about his strengths and weaknesses.
I know we only have a few seconds right now, but I just want to point out many of his strengths are my weaknesses, and many of his weaknesses are my strength. Put the two together, you can even it out and create a great working relationship.
Thank you. And this next question is for Shane and Mike again. And please explain your position on the SOB barn.
The SOB barn we all know and love. I was heavily involved in the drafting of the Memorandum of Understanding with Mark and Mike over Christmas break, and I think a lot of people have misconceptions about what will happen to the SOB barn. That memorandum was specifically designed to talk about outdoor rec moving out of the SOB barn into a new building or into the old MSU auto shop. And the third option was to stay in the barn, which meant that we would have to provide a third of the renovation cost, which was upwards of $1 million over several years. And to be fiscally responsible, we chose to move outdoor recreation into a new building. Where I stand right now with the SOB barn, I have already talked with Tom Stump, and I have planned open forums in April to discuss the specific details that will occur if the SOB barn does get renovated. It is currently falling apart, literally, and if we don't do something now, it won't be able to be saved. We could spend a little less than $2 million to renovate it to its current existing form, but we wouldn't get any more space out of that, or we could spend $3 million renovating it into more usable space like meeting rooms, things like that. The problem is if you renovate a building that's 10 to 15% its current replacement value, you have to start adding things like fire suppression, that means drywall, insulation, elevators, bathrooms, you name it. So the price is just going to escalate. I am really looking forward to working with students to provide the best solution for the SOB barn. You don't want to, say, permanently move clubs like the dancing club and fencing club into an area where they won't have anywhere to work out of. And we're also looking at alternative space for those clubs. Right now, I think if people, and if you want to talk to me after this, looked at the pictures for what's going to happen at the proposed renovation right now, it's amazing. This guy's won national awards for barn renovation,
Okay,
and
let's time
yeah,
this out.
I'd like to work with you guys on that.